So, what if I told you that one of the most hyped up new skills in tech, prompt engineering, is actually something you as a project manager have been doing for your entire career? Well, in this explainer, we're going to connect those dots and show you how your core PM skills are basically your secret weapon for getting the most out of AI. You know the feeling, right? You ask an AI to help you out, maybe draft a project update or brainstorm some risks, and what you get back is just kind of meh. It's so vague and generic that it feels like a total waste of time. I think we've all been there. And you probably end up thinking something like this. But here's the twist. The problem isn't really the AI. The problem is how we're talking to it. It all comes down to the instructions we're giving. And that, right there, is the heart of it. This isn't a technology problem, not really. It's a communication problem. There's this gap between what we want and what we're asking for, and it's our job to bridge that gap. And that bridge? That's what everyone's calling prompt engineering. Now, I know, the name sounds super technical, right? But forget about coding. At its core, it's just about giving clear, structured instructions so you get something useful back. That's it. It's a communication skill, plain and simple. Now, here's the key thing to understand. Unlike a person on your team, an AI almost never asks you for more detail. It just takes what you give it and runs. So if your prompt is vague, guess what? The output's going to be vague. If you don't give it context, it's just going to guess. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out scenario. Okay, so once you realize the AI isn't going to ask clarifying questions, that's when the big aha moment happens. Because the skills you need to give it a great brief, well, they aren't new at all. In fact, they're the exact skills you use every single day as a project manager. So let's get one thing straight. This is not about trying to write some clever, tricky prompt to outsmart the machine. The whole game is about one thing, being clear. And clarity, well, that's the bedrock of project management, isn't it? Just think about your daily work. You define goals. You set boundaries. You give your team all the necessary context. You specify exactly what the deliverable should look like. Then you review it and refine the process. That whole loop, that is prompt engineering. You're just used to doing it with people instead of an AI. And this parallel is just perfect. When you give a bad briefing to your team or a stakeholder, you get misalignment, rework, and a lot of frustration. When you give a bad briefing to an AI, you get generic answers and unusable junk. You see? In both cases, the problem is the same, and so is the fix, a better briefing. Okay, so if the secret sauce is a better briefing, what does that actually look like? Let's get practical. We're going to move from theory to action and break down how to turn a totally useless prompt into a really valuable one. All right, first, let's talk about the common traps. Don't just ask simple one-liners. And please, don't treat it like Google. It's built for reasoning, not just searching. Also, remember that your first try is rarely perfect. It's a conversation, so expect to refine it. And the big one, you are still the expert. Never, ever trust the output without checking it. Okay, so here it is. The classic weak prompt. Summarize project risks. We've all typed something like this, but think about it. It gives the AI absolutely nothing to work with. What project? What kind of risks? It's a recipe for a generic, useless answer. Now look at this. It's a night and day difference, right? We've given it a role to play. We've provided critical context. We've defined the specific task and its constraints. We even told it what format we want. See? This isn't a question anymore. It's a proper PM level brief. So let's break down this magic formula. First, you give it a role so it knows what perspective to take. Then you provide context, which is the crucial background info. You give it a clear task. You add constraints to narrow down the output. And finally, you tell it the format you want. It's exactly like writing a great work ticket for someone on your team. And this all leads to the most important mindset shift you can make. Don't think of AI as some magical oracle. Instead, treat it like a really smart, incredibly fast junior analyst, or maybe a thinking partner. It's there to draft, to brainstorm, and to summarize. But you're still the one in charge making the final calls. And when you really adopt that mindset and start treating AI as a capable partner, this whole thing becomes more than just a productivity hack. It actually turns into a brand new and I'd say essential leadership skill. I absolutely love this quote because it hits the nail on the head. AI doesn't lower standards, it exposes unclear thinking. When you're forced to write a really clear prompt, you have to organize your own thoughts first. It's a discipline that makes you a clearer thinker. And that discipline has this amazing ripple effect. Yeah, sure, you get better outputs and you save time, but more than that, you start modeling clear, structured thinking for your whole team. And when you raise the quality of thinking for everyone around you, well, that's leadership. And of course, one last, really critical reminder. With all this power comes responsibility. You and only you own the final output. Always double-check critical information, and never ever paste sensitive or confidential company data into a public AI tool. Your professional judgment always comes first. So, I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. The next time you open up an AI tool, just ask yourself, am I briefing this AI with the same clarity, context, and care that I use when briefing my human team? Because I promise you, when you start to do that, that's when everything changes.